Hi, I'm Todd Smith. I'm a partner at Dana Whiting Law. I'm joined today again with Hallie Tessendorf,
Hi.
one of the attorneys here that we have here at Dana Whiting Law, who's not only an amazing estate planning attorney, but I work often with Hallie in trust administration issues and probate, where we help families that come in after someone's passed away to help settle their affairs, whether they have a trust or not. We kind of help them settle up all the creditors or whatever other issues there are so that the family can move on. And a unique issue that we face in consulting with clients that come in about trust administration is dealing with the surviving spouse. So a spouse has passed away, the survivor comes in, they had a trust that was done who knows how long before, and the surviving spouse might be in a difficult, vulnerable moment because they're mourning, but there's business that needs to be tended to because there's a trust that needs to be administered. And I think I can say anecdotally, I'm safe to say most of the time as an estate plan or as a trust administration attorney, when I'm talking to a surviving spouse, more often than not, I'm talking to a surviving wife because husband has passed away. And so Hallie, as you do a lot of the consultations as well, same as me, you can probably confirm anecdotally that that's more often the case. But maybe talk a little bit about what the concerns that this surviving wife has when she comes in to see you about administering the trust.
Yeah. There are a list of concerns that every spouse comes in with after they've lost a spouse. But one of the main ones, and my normal question is, do you have cash flow right now? Like in this moment, you're grieving, it's difficult, there's a lot on your plate. We don't need to worry about what we have to do down the road, but right now, are you able to pay the bills? Or are you feeling very stressed and stretched? Because that's the goal we want to help them accomplish first. If, for example, there are assets out there, but they don't know where or they don't have access, which ones can we easily get access to so that we can make sure we have cash flow right now to cover in the interim? That's one of their first concerns is, can I pay the bills tomorrow?
Right. And, there's we've talked in other videos about, assumptions that we're not safe making as attorneys when we're talking to a woman client. And one of those that we've talked about is sometimes people mistakenly make the assumption that the woman in the wife in the relationship wasn't the one paying the bills and wasn't the one doing the, balancing the checkbook or whatever. I find that that's less and less the case from what I've seen. But I guess not focusing on whether the client is a man or a woman, but just focusing on whether or not the client was the person that, say, wasn't paying the bills and isn't involved in that. Does that make it harder for them when they come to you to be able to recognize there's stuff that needs to be done legally?
I think one of the most difficult things is just kind of disorganization and not knowing where to look for different assets. So if we have to check the mail, if we have to look through files, it's hard to just find things. And that's what our process is anyways. That's one of the reasons why we are on your team, on a family's team if they've lost somebody, is to help them find out what they need to do and what assets are out there. So yes, we kind of try to just slow the process down and talk through step one. Let's just work on step one. And that's finding out where the bank accounts are, where the investments are, where the IRAs are, how the house is titled. Let's just find out information. And then step two will help you make sure we know what to do with it.
Right. And often we talk in a lot of our other videos and a lot of our clients, we talk about these complicated trusts and what happens when one spouse dies. We have to split it into an A trust and a B trust. And I think that by taking the approach that you're taking, you recognize that before you can get into those complicated questions of what's going into this A trust and what's going into this B trust, before you can get there, you have to know what you're working with. And so that first step is just kind of what I'm hearing you say is it's kind of discovery. We're trying to inventory what we're dealing with here before we kind of get into the weeds of what the document says we do with the assets.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time, Hallie.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, and you're an awesome trust administration attorney.
I appreciate it. Thanks.